Welcome back, guitar dudes and dudettes. Today we have Plini Guitar Study Part 4, which in reality should be Part 2 in the sense that it's the follow-up riff to the actual lead intro of the song, and it starts around, 22 seconds. The reason why these videos with this one is not chronological is because I did not know that I would be actually covering slowly the whole song. So when I did start, I only tried to pick the cool licks, riffs, building up to just those cool moments and doing those. But a lot of people want all of it, so that's why kind of the chronological order is a bit weird. So part 4, we're actually going to the follow-up riff. I already did things after that, which are in part 2 and 3, but with part 4, again, it's right after the intro lead, so just bear with me on that. And so yeah, the tuning is in the description below, and the timestamps to the tabs and the structure of this video are also in the description below, so be sure to check that one out. Let's start. Exercise 1. So we're starting off on the low E with an open string 0, and then we have 3 scratches that commence right after. After those 3 scratches, we move on to the A string 5. Then we have 2 scratches after, so that's 3 scratches and then 2. Okay, with the scratches, you want to really think about it as being light on your pick, just the same way you would be light on your feet. You don't have to scratch the low E string extremely hard to get that nice effect. You have to be swift. It's a swift riff, okay? So don't force those scratches. Really use the tip of your pick, just a little tip. And also when you're muting, try to keep your pinky and your ring finger close to the 7th fret, because if you are scratching and you have your finger just on the 5, you may get some natural unwanted harmonics because you're on the 5th fret. Okay, so we have open note, 3 scratches, 5, and then 2 scratches. And these are all pretty much after one another. Then we start open note, low E, hammer on 3 and 7. We string skip the A and go to the D and do the same pattern. Open note 0, hammer on 3 and 7. And then we go to the G with these 2 fingers here, middle finger and index finger. 5, pull off to 4. Okay, from there we jump back to the low E and we start with a scratch instead of a 0. So we're basically inverted those first 4 notes that we did before. And we're omitting the 5. Okay, so after this, 3 scratches, 0. Pull off. Okay, after this, the 3 scratch 0, we scratch 2 times, and then the same pattern. But instead of pulling off from 5 to 4, we're actually hammering on from 4 to 5. Okay, so we have the 3 scratches 0. That would be basically it. So you have the little variation of the beginning of the riff with the scratches and the open note. And instead of, when you're doing the repetition, instead of pulling off, you're hammering on from 4 to 5. And this is all also legato work with some scratching into it, giving it some rhythm and some groove. So those scratches really give it a nice bouncy groove to the riff. Makes it sound nice and cool. Now we're moving on to exercise 2. Okay, so that's right after this hammer on for the 5. Then we move to the following. Okay, so there we're bouncing to the low E again, but this time starting at 3. Scratch. We skip the 2 strings A and D, go to the G4. So, okay. After that, we go back to a scratch. Go back to the G, open note, hammer on 2 and 4. And then you start again with the same pattern, 0, 3, 7. Pull off 5 to 4 on the G. And then we go to the chords. 5. We're barring the 5th fret. So that's 5, 5, 10, 5. And then we shift our pinky from the 10 to the 9, and that's the only thing that changes. And that's basically it. Here it might seem like a bit of a stretch, but it's easier than you might think. Just try it out yourself. You'll see it's not too scary. And things to take note of, we still have the use of the legatos, hammer-ons, and pull-offs there. And also try to, if you can, sometimes you might miss it because of the speed as you're playing the riff, but try to incorporate those little scratches between the 3 and the 4. Just gives it more of, you know, that groovy, bouncy feel to it. Now we're moving on to part 3. Okay. Okay, so there we are starting off on the low E again. And that's open note, scratch, 2 open notes, and then open note slide to 12. And you have to add those rests in between so they're very staccato. And when I'm sliding from open note to 12, I usually start from the 3rd fret. Okay, then we have 3 scratches, which is kind of, I do them at the top, the first 2, 3 note, the first 2, 3 strings. That's 3. And then we have this chord right here. Remember what I said about keeping your fingers around the 7th fret to avoid harmonics. This chord is basically 5 on the A, D, 7, G, 9. And then you hit it with an upstroke because of the way you're stroking the scratches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after that, we have 2 scratches, and then we start kind of the same pattern as before, a reoccurring kind of theme in the riff. So we know that pattern, that's 0, 3, 7, hammer on. So and here it changes to 5, hammer on 7. Instead of pulling off to 5, 4 or hammering on 4, 5, we're hammering on 5, 7. And that will basically be exercise 3. And again, it's all about that groove, adding those little scratches, that little heavy section in the beginning with the slide to the 12. Just keep in mind, those scratches to me really make the riff as bouncy and groovy as it sounds. So really try to get them down. You don't have to force those scratches like crazy, just very light on the tip of the pick, okay? And then we have the exercise 4, the last one in the riff. We're going to the low E string 3, and we're playing that 4 times palm muted. Then we skip the following two strings, A and D, and go to the G string, 4. And we play that 4 times as well. Then we have the little legato run, which is starting at the 9 on the G string. You hit it, pull off to 5, hammer on 7, back to 9, pull off, back to 7, back to 5, and then pull off from 7 to 5 on the D. And then we have again the chords, which are the same as the last exercise, barring 5 with your pinky on the 10th on the D string on 10, and then to 9. The transition from that to the lick that comes afterwards are these 2 chords, which is barring the 3rd fret and keeping your ring finger on the 5 on the G and the 6 with your pinky on the B. And you maintain this pattern. You don't, when I'm switching going upwards to the next one, it's the same pattern, just barring at 5. Right, so that's when that comes in. And for that part, there's nothing too fancy going on. Try to keep your alternate picking tight for legato, keep it clean, and the chords, just keep them nice and full. So that's it for part 4. Okay, so if you have any questions about the riff itself, just let me know. Also, I've been receiving a lot of positive comments, really just people being very supportive, and I just want to thank you for that. It really pushes me to be better and just to create more content, to just put something out to give to you, the guitar player watching this, for you to learn a new song or what have you. If you enjoyed this type of content, be sure to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed it, and share it with all of your guitar buddies if you think it may help them out. And I'll see you all again on another video.